All right, and welcome. Once again, we have Luke. And if you don't recognize that scene behind him, well, you obviously haven't seen Lethal Weapon 2. So, Luke, thanks for joining again. And, well, we all know the drill here.
Come on, Raj, don't be a killjoy. Come on, we're back. We're bad. You're black. I'm mad. Come on, man.
Lethal Weapon 2. This time, they're not taking any crap.
Just get off me, man. I don't want anybody to see us like that.
This time. Not taking any crap. That's great. Love it.
So just a little
Obviously,
behind the scenes.
They're not taking any crap.
Obviously, Luke surprised me with that background, and I already knew that tagline was in that trailer, so I was dying to get his reaction from it. Now, there's a couple things about that trailer I want to see if you actually picked up on. Did you catch a certain building in that trailer?
Okay.
When they were flying out the window of the motel or the hotel down to the pool?
Oh, it's Nakatomi Plaza, isn't it?
That's Nakatomi Plaza.
Okay. I was thinking, was it? I just, your eyes are totally on them falling out the window. But yeah, it's totally Nakatomi Plaza. That's awesome.
So yeah, I want to talk about that right off the bat. Is we already discovered at the end of our Lethal Weapon Die Hard in December that the Beretta 92 that Mel's using is the same one Bruce uses. But according to IMDb, the prop Beretta 92 FS Mel uses in this film is the same prop he would use in Lethal Weapon 2, Lethal Weapon 3, Lethal Weapon 4, and Bruce ends up using for Die Hard 2, and Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Really? So it's the same one?
Same one for all 7 of these films. Obviously, he didn't do it for Live Free and Die Hard or the 5th Die Hard. So, but
that's just crazy. I mean, I guess with the prop department, you just have it and they're like, hey, here it is. Keep using it.
Well, not only the prop department, but I think it had to do with who actually produced these films. Joel Silverberg, who
right. So yeah.
So I got quite a few. Quite honestly, I got about 3 pages worth of notes of things I want to kind of bring up, but I want to take care of the ones that were actually taken care of in this trailer, so we can just move on. So in that scene where Riggs and Mortar, he exclaims, "You're black, I'm mad." You know what that?
Yeah, you're back.
Reference.
We're back. You're black, I'm mad, and we're back. So, yeah.
Well, it is a little throwback to the fact that he played Mad Max. That's how the line was written. Yeah.
How so?
I'm mad, you're black.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's just subtle, and if you don't think about it too much, he's a little mad. Another way of saying crazy, but if you think about it, it's Mel, and he's Mad Max.
Oh yeah, that's cool. I never thought about. I mean, all these years I've heard that line, never thought about that. That's cool. That's a cool little Easter egg.
Yeah, a little one. So there's so many things we could talk about with this movie. What I personally found super interesting about the movie is Shane Black, who wrote the original Lethal Weapon, came back and wrote this one. In fact, his version of it calls it Lethal Weapon 2 Play Dirty. And believe it or not, his version is a lot darker. And
really?
Yeah. In fact, I got 2 different accounts in my notes about everybody saying it was too dark and the ending was just too much. That
did they kill Mel off in the end in his?
Actually, yes. So that scene where it's kind of silent and Murtaugh's holding Riggs and saying, "Don't die. Don't you dare die on me."
Yeah.
They filmed it that way so they could have gone either way. Leave him to die, or obviously we see him kind of come back. Don't make me laugh, kind of thing. So, because the studio and Richard Donner, they didn't want to kill Mel off for future potential Lethal Weapon movies.
Well, yeah, you kill him off, and then it's like, okay, now what do we do?
Yeah,
but I mean, I didn't see this one in the theater, obviously, because of my age at the time when this came out. But my thought is like at that scene, that music playing, he's holding him. I bet you couldn't hear a pin drop in the theater. I bet it's just, because you're wondering, is he going to make it? I mean, he just had a knife in the back of his leg. He's been shot. It's just like, yeah.
Well, it's kind of interesting. Michael Kamen's track "Riggs Dying" and Eric Clapton's cover of the song "Knocking on Heaven's Door" were actually composed and meant to be used with the Riggs dying ending.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't even realize "Knocking on Heaven's Door" was even on the soundtrack, because I don't honestly think I recall anything from the Lethal Weapon soundtrack.
I don't remember hearing that one, especially "Knocking on Heaven's Door." I don't. Yeah.
But George Harrison's song of "Cheer Down" was used for the ending credits for the Riggs living ending. And according to the commentary track by Richard Donner, before I jump to that, this is the first and only Lethal Weapon movie that kind of ends after the final battle. All the other ones have a little after action scene. In Lethal Weapon 1, it was the do you mind if I bring a friend to dinner?
Yeah.
So this one, according to Dick Donner's commentary from the movie, when he rejected Shane Black's original draft, mostly because of the ending where Riggs dies, they still filmed the ending in the movie in the way they could edit it 2 different ways. So I'm overloaded.
It ends there. You have all the. That's it.
So originally, when they rewrote everything with the new writer, Jeffrey Baum, I don't know how to pronounce it, but he goes on to not only do this one, but he does Lethal Weapon 3 as well. And he had an unused draft for a 4th film, in which Riggs and Murtaugh deal with neo-Nazi survivalists who were launching terrorist attacks in Los Angeles. This script was written sometime in 1995, according to him. It dealt with the entire real-life neo-Nazi activity in the U.S. at the time that was only superficially dealt with in only one movie before, which was the 1989 Dead Bang. I don't have any other info. Despite the fact that everybody liked it, for some reason, that script got rejected. But they were originally going to have a Thanksgiving dinner scene. in an alternate ending to the movie featuring a Thanksgiving dinner scene at the Murtaugh's house, of course, which is attended by Riggs and Rika Van Hoss. But then again, Richard Donner later decided that Rika should be killed to further fuel Riggs' hatred of the South African diplomats. With Rika dead, this entire ending had to be scrapped. This ending was filmed prior to filming some of the other scenes from the film, including most of the second half where Riggs and Murtaugh go to the final showdown with the South Africans. Another reason this ending didn't get used is because filmmakers weren't sure whether Riggs should live or die at the end of this film. So,
that makes sense. I mean, if you kill him off, I mean, that would be something that would be huge, obviously. But then we're not making any more movies, probably. So
yeah. Now, there are two prominent product placements throughout this movie. One is all the BMWs being used in this movie.
Oh. Yeah, now that you say that, yeah, there's a lot of BMWs.
And then you'll notice that when we first see Riggs going into his trailer, you hear a commercial for Hero.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when they come and shoot up his trailer, you see that bottle of cologne sitting there getting blown up. So kind of fun. Now, do you remember the phonetic alphabet when we did the aviation unit back in middle school?
Alpha, Bravo, Tango, Zulu, Charlie,
Right. So, in the very beginning of this movie, Riggs is reading off that license plate, and he uses. It is a phonetic alphabet, but it's not the military alphabet that we learned, because that's the one normally used for aviation and military. Yeah. So he says it's 24 Adam Henry 174. The Adam Henry is an inside joke in police movies. So if you hear a license plate being called whatever Adam Henry, the AH abbreviation is for a I want to keep this PG, so I'm not going to say it.
An a-hole?
Yes. So I thought that was kind of fun.
That's interesting. So, I never knew that. I always thought it was weird though, because why would you say Alpha Bravo or Alpha
Hotel?
Which I mean sounds kind of weird, Alpha Hotel, but I mean that's the phonetic one instead of Adam Henry. But if that's an inside cop joke, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, at least that's what this is claiming, and it's cool. So when it got rewritten, obviously the humor level was brought up.
Right.
In fact, one character who went from a very subplot, few line character went to a substantial mainstay character. So obviously I'm talking about Leo Getz.
Right. Whatever you need, Leo Getz.
So before I jump to how we got the okay about Leo, which is kind of cool, I have 3 alternative people who were considered for Leo Getz.
Really?
So I absolutely guarantee you will never guess these 3 actors.
Well, I have one in mind.
Okay.
Danny DeVito.
Okay, you got one.
just because the whole short guy. I mean, I was just like that character. I could see
That was the easy one, quite honestly.
I would say
out of
that,
these three, I knew you might get that one. Now I'm going to give you a hint for who was actually the first choice.
Okay.
Okay, and it's going to blow your mind if you think about it. But I'm going to make you guess a little bit. This actor has worked with Richard Donner before in a beloved classic of the 80s.
Billy Crystal?
No.
Okay.
He also plays the commanding captain over Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. He was also in The Matrix.
Lawrence Fishburne?
No.
Hang on. Wait a second. Okay, in The Matrix, he's the guy that betrays them all. Isn't he in Goonies too?
Yes.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. He's the brother in Goonies, the Teller brother that has the hairpiece in Goonies.
Yes.
I cannot remember that actor's name.
His name is Joe Pantoliano or Pantoliano.
Okay. No. Yeah.
But most commonly, he's called Joey Pants. Because nobody can pronounce that last name.
No one can say his last name.
So he's commonly just referred to as Joey Pants. So he was actually the first choice to play Leo, but turned it down due to a scheduling conflict with The Last of the Finest, which came out in 1990.
Huh.
And the last one who turned down the part of Leo Getz, this one blew my mind.
Kevin Spacey.
No.
Okay.
And I don't want to.
I have one more guess.
Okay.
Rick Moranis.
Nope.
No. Okay. I give up then.
I hope I don't mispronounce this. Gary Burhoff.
Who's Gary Burhoff?
Maybe you'll remember him from this little TV show on CBS that ran from 1972 called MASH. Radar.
Radar. Oh, that's awesome.
Can you imagine Radar playing Leo Getz?
No. I mean, because all I think is little Radar from MASH, not like.
Yes, he definitely got typecast.
Yeah.
Because not only was he Radar
character, obviously.
Well, not only did he play Radar in the TV series, he played Radar in the movie.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Huh.
So,
I haven't seen MASH the movie in a long time, so I didn't remember that. But.
Leo's okay stick was based on a Disneyland employee giving directions to guests at Fantasyland originally. Originally, Leo was going to be an oily, just a sleazeball.
Sleazy like
used car salesman.
Back, used car salesman. Yeah.
But he pitched the idea of making Leo all too eager to please, complete with the okay ad lib to Richard Donner. Donner laughed and said, do that. And if you notice closely, it was kind of paid as an homage to Leo Getz in Home Alone.
Oh, yeah. I can see that.
How?
Do
you remember what the plumbing company was called?
Oh, no, I don't. I was just thinking about one of the when he falls down and he kind of does that same kind of I'm gonna get you, like you.
No.
But
if you rewatch Home Alone, the plumbing van,
yeah,
the company name is O, K, just the letter K, plumbing.
Okay, plumbing.
And that was just kind of an inside joke because I'm not 100% sure, but I think Joe Silver also produced Home Alone.
I think you're right. I think he did.
So it was just kind of cool
Cool.
seeing that little connection.
Yeah, that's way cool.
So, and then a little extra trivia was this is the only Lethal Weapon movie where Riggs drives a blue GMC Sierra. In every other film, it's a black GMC Sierra.
It's a black one. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So, and then I have this note somewhere, but I found a ton of little things about this. What was kind of cool is the bulk cargo ship.
Yeah.
At the very end, the actual name of that ship was called the Tequila Sunrise.
Really? That's
which
cool.
Just happens to be a movie Mel Gibson starred in.
Yeah, exactly.
With Kurt Russell. So
they had to change that because it would be just like too obvious. Yeah, I mean, even though they didn't mean to, the dang ship is named that, but
exactly.
Let that go, I guess. So it would be like if it was called Bird on the Wire or something. I think that was after this, anyways. But
wow, I just literally thought of this. So not only has he worked with Kurt, but Goldie Hawn.
Yep.
So I got two more things written down that we'll discuss a little later.
Okay.
Did the blonde look familiar to you at all?
Oh no, I know she's been in something else, but I'm drawing a blank. What is it?
So yeah, she was the lead singer of Eighth Wonder. So I think that's how she got the invitation to at least do her role. And if you look closely, she is the only female working in what looks like that South American consulate.
Yeah, I think you're right. Because all we see otherwise is like the Aryan guys or whatever, I guess Riggs calls them. So
the master race. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is kind of why we chose to do this film as part of our theme of February being Black History Month. Is right. This film came out in 1990, and the night Nelson Mandela won his election in 1994, Australia, one of their TV stations, started showing this film as a little tribute. I didn't know this either until I looked this up, that they actually showed it virtually in its entirety. I think they edited out some content, obviously.
Sure. Obviously, yeah.
But surprisingly,
I mean, free South Africa scene and stuff.
Even with the South African theme, this got past the South African censors and was shown in its entirety in South Africa.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
so the
chant and stuff.
Chant that Murtaugh uses in the video or in the movie, he says, "One man, one vote."
Yeah. From
what I remember is reading, doing the research, that was also a chant used by Mandela's party. Was the one man, one vote,
which they may have gotten from here because that was after this.
It's very possible.
Yeah.
It's kind of chicken and egg. Did they already have that?
Right.
they used that as part of why they, because the whole thing with Nelson Mandela was more than just in 1994. He was in prison for
for years.
Yeah. So it's very possible that the screenwriter here knew of it and just wanted to use that. So I'm going to call this a chicken and egg situation.
Yeah. No, I just think it was cool because this movie brought attention to it even more, you know? I mean, to people that probably weren't even thinking about it, it was like, oh, what is this that they're talking about and stuff? So and this is way before the internet and stuff where you can just go Google it or see something and stuff. So it's kind of cool that they brought attention to that in a unique kind of way. So
yeah, honestly, I think the first time I really heard anything about apartheid in South Africa was, I think, in freshman year in high school.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I remember watching in my English class back in the day, I can't even think of the name of the movie now. But it was totally centered around apartheid. And it's going to drive me nuts for the rest of the evening until I look it up.
It's not the one with Matt Damon because that came out way later.
No, that was actually a fun movie. This one was pretty dark. And I'm not 100% sure, but I want to say River Phoenix was in it.
Huh. Not the Mosquito Coast, is it?
No.
Well, that's
Power One, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember. Now, you might be bringing this up, but didn't we talk about this when we did Lethal Weapon on the fridge?
We talked about the magnet or the flyer in Lethal Weapon 1.
Yeah. Kind of foreshadowing a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's great that they had it there. And again, it was one of those things here in America. It wasn't something widely talked about, at least not among our community, at least.
Yeah, not in Western Montana.
It was the Power One, and it's Stephen Dorff.
Oh, okay. Blade.
And I totally forgot this, but Morgan Freeman's in it.
Oh, surprise, surprise.
I know. Stephen Dorff played PK at age 18, and that's who I was thinking of as River Phoenix.
Oh, sure, yeah. Well, I can see that. I can see. I mean, they do look similar. So,
especially as a 18-year-old, you know.
Yeah.
So, and that movie came out 1992.
Oh, there you go. Not far out, not long after this.
No. There's so many little rabbit holes we could go down with this, but what's surprising is this one broke the mold. If you think about it, we already discussed how this one ends after a battle. You know, there's always that final battle with the bad guy.
Yeah. Kind of the climax, and then
a fun little,
ease back down.
So we don't have that here. The original script, like I said, was a lot darker. This brought in a lot more humor. We see a lot more of Mel Gibson's Larry, Curly, and Moe love.
Which I love. I love that stuff. I love that they keep with it too. It's cool.
They keep with it and they add to it.
Yeah. It builds to his character arc and stuff. I just think it's a great little, I mean, it's just because those guys are silly and he's kind of crazy, and it builds to his character, and it does a great job, especially when he's doing it to bad guys and stuff. I love it. It just cracks me up, and I think it's great.
I love that whole scene with the aquarium.
Oh yeah, I do too. It's one of my favorites.
Especially save the fish, pick them up. Like, okay, what are you going to do with them? Nobody's going for a bucket or anything. So what did you honestly think of Mel Gibson's performance here?
I thought it was really good. In fact, I think so. Like, I felt like the first Lethal Weapon focused a lot more on Murtaugh, his character. You know, he's retiring at the beginning and stuff, and just his whole, he's got to take on the new partner and stuff. Where I felt like this one focused more on Riggs's character.
Yeah, I would agree.
Especially since, in the first one we know his wife died somehow, right?
And well, we knew it was an accident, and I remember when we talked about this last time, I brought it up how they used it as a drug cartel
in
Mexico in the TV show.
Yeah.
I totally forgot that it was the South African henchman.
Yeah, that was supposedly going to kill Riggs and killed his wife, and then I think that I'm glad. I guess I'm glad they killed off the other girl too, because it just, you felt that rage building. They killed his wife, and then they kill Rika too, and it's like, oh, yeah, I'm not a cop anymore, Roger. It's like you get it though. You're like, yeah, that revenge and that rage is there. So,
how much do you think that stunt cost of bring down the stilt house?
Oh my gosh. Well, so, in the film, it looks like it's to me, it looks like it's a green screen or a blue screen back then or whatever it is. When they're, maybe it's just a slow motion when they're filming. Did they actually bring a house down?
They brought down a structure.
The structure. I don't know. I'll say $500,000.
You are absolutely correct.
Oh, really? Wow, that's cool.
Now there is a director's cut of this film.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
From what I was reading, there isn't a lot to it. There's a little more bantering with Leo. When he's taking him up to find the stilt house, there's some additional scenes with him where he tells him the numbers of the house add up to 9 because 9's my lucky number. And then in the final film, we see it adds up to 9, my lucky number.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of backstory to it. So,
yeah. So, the house with stilts, it's funny. So a little side story here in Rapid City where I live, we have Canyon Lake, which is on the west side of town. Well, a few years back, this rich lawyer in town decided to build a house on stilts above the lake. And while everybody was working on it and we're doing windows and different things, no one ever called it the house on stilts. Everybody just calls it the Lethal Weapon 2 house. And that's what it's always been called. Like, if you're looking for directions, you go past the Lethal Weapon 2 house, and then it's right over here.
That's fun.
And so I've always thought that was funny. That's everybody refers to that house as the Lethal Weapon 2 house because it's built on stilts above this lake, and just that's what everybody calls it. They're working on it.
It makes sense.
Just yeah. Rather than the Stilts house or ever using the guy's name, it was the Lethal Weapon 2 house, and it's still known as that in Rapid City.
So yeah, I'm not sure because it almost feels like they used a model to bring it down.
That's what it felt like to me too. Yeah,
like a little trickery of. Yeah, you see a house, and then when we see the teardown, it could have been a model. Especially, there's 2 scenes. It just doesn't cut right. When Leo and Murtaugh jump from the house before it collapses, that background action scene doesn't quite have the same flow.
Yeah, that's why I thought some kind of, like you said, a model or some kind of Hollywood trickery with a little bit of green screen-ish and model, and so it feels
honestly, I couldn't find anything on it, but that scene, and then the other scene that really comes to my mind is when they shoot the BMW, sorry, out of the container at the end.
Oh yeah, right.
When it explodes out, it's a great shot, but it felt like, okay, we're filming, stop. Okay, now we're going to add this film piece where the car comes out, and it just.
Well, what got me with that was I was like, why did the car blow up? It starts blowing up while it's falling. And I was just always like, why is it blowing up? I don't get that. Like, no one shot it. It drove out. Why would it blow up? I mean, it's cool looking, but I just was like, okay. You know, in the moment you're watching it, I didn't care. But later on, I've watched it a bunch of times. I'm always like, well, why is it blowing up? You know.
Yeah, there's a future episode that you're already on where I'm going to bring up my same reaction to something similar to that. So
yeah,
just remind me, you'll know exactly when I'm talking about it.
Oh, gotcha.
So,
but one thing I do want to say, I love the bad guy, like the main old bad guy, the diplomatic immunity guy. He's just creepy and just like I feel the evil in that guy.
Well, what's funny is I see him, I think of two characters. I think of him in this.
I know which movie you're gonna say. Are you gonna say Mighty Ducks is the coach, yes! the old coach?
Yes. Talk about yin and yang.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart in that movie.
You know, and for me, this is fairly fresh to me because we were just talking about David Conrad in our last film.
Yeah.
How much we absolutely hated his character.
Oh, yeah.
And then he goes on to CBS evening soap opera, if you will, of a show where he becomes such a beloved character. So he's doing a great character job.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, there's very few actors that I can really think of where I absolutely hated you in this, but absolutely loved you in that.
Right.
And he definitely pulled it off.
Yeah, no, I mean, bravo for his acting skills to pull that off, because I mean, you hate him in this, but then Mighty Ducks, he's the beloved old wise, you know, like Obi-Wan figure to Emilio Estevez, you know, so.
Yeah, and he's only in the first of the three Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
He's referenced in the third one.
Oh,
I think he may have had like 2 or 3 little bit scenes at the very beginning, but then his character dies.
Oh.
So I just remember in 3, the ducks touched the ice in a circle as a sign of respect, homage, if you will.
Right.
So,
right.
But yeah, now the whole love interest with Mel here, felt it was good for the development of the character, but didn't really feel natural, at least to me. What do you think?
Right. It seemed, I mean, it felt a little quick too, you know. It was just like, because it feels, you know, I don't know, it was, I guess, unnecessary, but you know,
well, even Patsy Kent's, who actually was the one who played her, in fact, that song I played for you earlier, the I'm Not Scared, if you listen closely, when Leo's cleaning out the RV for Riggs, that's playing in the background.
Oh, really?
Yeah. which Patsy Kensit was the, as I said, the lead singer to
Right.
the British pop group Eighth Wonder. But she found doing the love scenes hard to do with Gibson because they're both Catholic and both married at the time.
Oh, yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
why.
that would make it a little hard.
And really, she's not a classically trained actress. I haven't really looked to see if she's been in anything else.
I think she's been in something else that I want to say, but I can't remember. But I mean, they could have easily just showed that, at the apartment, or even, just going up there and then cut to the helicopters coming and blowing the place up. That would have been enough, but
Right. Apparently didn't copy the notes. But yeah, she just said it was awkward just because of their religion doing it.
Sure, I can see that.
But earlier I asked, how were you feeling about Gibson's performance here? Would you be shocked to hear that he was drinking 5 pints of beer for breakfast every day?
Really?
Yeah.
I guess.
Richard Donner was shocked when Mel confided in him that he was drinking 5 pints of beer for breakfast every day. Despite his alcohol problems, Gibson was known for his professionalism and punctuality.
I mean, I guess 5 isn't that many. I don't know.
Okay, let's do a little math here. 1 pint is 2 cups. So 2 pints is a quart. 4 pints would then be a half a gallon.
Yeah. But I mean, if it's in the morning, you're shooting in the afternoon. No, I'm just kidding. So Donner didn't even know. It wasn't until later that he was like, "Hey, I've been drunk this whole time."
Yeah, according to his commentary in the I don't know, director's cut or something, during production, he was shocked when Mel Gibson confided in him that he was drinking 5 pints of beer for breakfast. So,
well, I mean, I guess it wouldn't surprise you if his character would do that anyways. So,
yeah. So now the last little bit of trivia info I found, and it's so great that you have that toilet scene behind you, because it is during that toilet scene the police psychiatrist Dr. Stephanie Woods, played by Mary Elaine Trainor, appears at the Murtaugh residence. However, Captain Murphy, who, as we discovered during the last Lethal Weapon movie we did, is Dick Donner's cousin, Steve Kahn. Does not, of all 9 characters who appear in all 4 Lethal Weapon movies, including Sam the dog, Captain Murphy is the only one who has never visited the Murtaugh residence at any point during the film. So, the closest we have is that final scene in Lethal Weapon 4.
Yeah, I was thinking of the hospital scene there.
But that's the hospital.
Yeah, that's the hospital when they're all together. Yeah. Huh. Well, I guess he's the captain. He's got to stay downtown.
Well, if we go with the Lethal Weapon TV show storyline, the captain and Murtaugh used to be partners,
right,
before he got promoted. So,
yeah,
I don't know if that's necessarily true with the movie timeline, background, but
I mean, it could. That, the first one, he's like, meet your new partner. I mean, he could be referring that I'm not your partner anymore because I'm up here now. And
well, it was a stretch even then, because he's captain, and these two have been sergeants for so long,
Oh yeah.
except for Lethal Weapon 4 when they temporarily get promoted to captain
Yeah.
to save on the city's insurance. So, and then they got busted in Lethal Weapon 3 down to street cop duty, or
Yeah, they're all the beat cops again, and Mel's got his little ponytail.
and that's also when Mel actually finds his next true love, because she actually makes it beyond one film.
Right. Yeah.
So surprisingly, I said it earlier that this one breaks the mold. This is also the most financially successful of the Lethal Weapon movies.
Really?
I think, I don't have it here for the exact amount, but I think it made like $87 million more than the first Lethal Weapon movie. So it's one of those rare instances where the sequel is more successful than the first one.
Yeah.
And this is the only of the sequels where
I really like this one. I mean, it's I mean, equal, or I mean, there's parts I like better than.
I like how some of the gags in this one were almost an homage to the first one. Because if you think about it, them falling from the 7th story into a swimming pool is just the next iteration of, I'm taking the psycho from the roof down to the airbag below.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and I liked the fact that they brought that scene back, and I like that he's like, "You didn't come with us," you know. I thought that was good.
And look, he started a fight in the pool, which is also something that was kind of done in the first one when they go up to the drug house.
Yeah.
So subtle reuses of gags, but done with a twist.
Yeah, I thought they did it well. Because they're bringing back what you want to see, but changing it up just a hair to make it new.
Now the carpenter that's working on the garage expansion. When he made his little line about the condom commercial about how cute his daughter was, that was ad-libbed during rehearsals, and they kept it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, it was good because it pissed Roger right off.
Yeah, so like I said, they've done, for a sequel, this did better than the first one financially. I don't know if I really want to say this is my favorite, because I love the first one so much, because it is a holiday tradition for me.
Well, I mean, for me, it's like this, you know, it's just a little bit. I mean, I like the first one, and this one's, there's not a big drop off, is what I'm saying. You know, it's right there.
Yeah, Lethal Weapon 3, I really like, but you know, that whole part where they got busted down, street cops, because of that subplot, I didn't really enjoy it as much. But I do like the introduction of the new character they brought in. You know, the whole cop killer bullets felt really kind of real in a way.
Yeah. Well, because I remember that being on the news and stuff, the armor-piercing bullets and things like that at times. So yeah, it felt relevant, you know, when they brought that into that one.
And I would agree. So, and Lethal Weapon 4, obviously they were getting a little old, so it didn't quite have the same level of action, and the comedy level went up a little more, but it was still fun.
Yeah, well, that's what they talk about Lethal Weapon 5, and I'm like, oh, what are we
I
gonna
know.
do?
I was going to bring that up. Is there is rumor that they're going to start filming 5 sometime later this year, assuming COVID allows them to record.
Right.
And
Yeah.
what was the year of Lethal Weapon 4? Do you remember off the top of your head?
I want to say it was like 2002
And that's
or
feeling right.
2003. Yeah, that's what I think. I want to say it's right 2001, 2, or 3, somewhere right in there. And the thing is in the first one, Murtaugh's ready to retire.
Okay, the first one came out in 87. So I was wrong. This one came out in 1989.
Right.
Lethal Weapon 3 came out in 1992. And then Lethal Weapon 4 came out in 1998.
So
yeah.
That's 22 years ago.
I know. Don't you feel old right now?
Yeah. So they have to be retired now. I mean, a little bit.
Well,
but I mean, if they're doing a 5, they would both be retired off the force, I would think.
Or this would be they're planning on retiring in one last big bust before they get their gold watches. Because I don't know, time is definitely an issue here. And now that we've actually done the math, that could mean Riggs' kid is heading to college. They're retiring. Murtaugh's grandkid is going off to college.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Well, is Butters one of the main characters now? I mean, Chris Rock's character?
You would assume.
Yeah. You'd have to bring him back.
Well, look at what they did with Bad Boys 3. They brought the same boyfriend back from Bad Boys 2.
Right.
So, but it is definitely, as much as I love this beloved series, Lethal Weapon 5 is a little hard to swallow at this point. 15 years ago,
at some
maybe.
Point,
So, I'm sure, unless the trailer absolutely looks horrible, you and I will probably still end up seeing it in some way, either in theater or when it comes out on disc.
I'll see it, whether depending on how they release it or whatever, but yeah, I'll see it.
So
there's not a question. If they come out with another one, I'll go see it.
So it's one of those, I know I'm going to see it, but the fear of you're just trying for the sake of trying is not necessarily for the better good.
Right.
So, and I can think of a couple movies. I can't think of a title off the top of my head, but I know a few where you just did that for the paycheck kind of thing, and it wasn't meant for the fans. Now, when they do it for the fans, it's a little different, and I don't know. As I recall, when we did our Lethal Weapon, I showed you that Lethal Weapon 20 years later of them doing a cast reunion, and now the first movie almost came out.
Oh, yeah.
30 years ago. Or are we? Yeah, we're at least 30 years now, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's that 20-year stretch that makes it harder to believe, unless they do a time thing where they say this is 2010 instead of 2021. You know, said back in time a little bit, which makes it a little more.
Somehow they bring him out of retirement. Yeah. My other thought would be like there's some old bad guy that is looking for some kind of redemption against them and goes up, you know, and they're not even working. They were both retired or something. And they try to pull something off on them. They just have to go vigilante almost or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that. I don't know. We'll have to wait.
They've got their hands full. Yeah.
Yeah. Or that could be part of the storyline. Riggs's kid is about to have a baby.
He's going to be a great grandpa?
No, Riggs would be a grandpa there.
Riggs would be a grandpa, yeah. Yeah.
Or in the ultimate twist of fate, I can't remember. Did one of them have a boy, one had a girl? Do you remember?
But that would be funny if those two got together.
Yeah. So who knows? What I do know is, as we hinted I guess it was 2 weeks ago, we are going to do Hidden Figures as a kickoff to not only Women's History Month, but it's also the first in a 4-part series about, as I said before, the golden age of NASA. So I hope everybody tunes into our 4 episodes pertaining to that. So that'll be March 1st, March 15th, April 1st. And then I'll save the final release date as a little surprise. It should be pretty obvious if you think about it, the date I'm releasing that one. If not, you'll be surprised. And then Luke and I have something really special planned for May, and we're, as you can see by that big grin,
awesome.
We're very excited. It's a very ambitious thing for what we're attempting. So I may tease that a little later. Otherwise, you'll see something soon on this channel. So Luke, once again, thank you as always. It's always a blast doing these with you.
It was a pleasure being here, and I love watching movies and talking about movies. So thanks for having me on again.
All right. We'll see you guys the next time.